What we learned in Laurel is when you're overwhelmed with so much work to do that you don't really know where to begin,
put a mural up.
It boosts the morale right out of the gate.
People think something's happening.
Yep.
What did you guys want to do Hometown Takeover? Like, where did this whole idea come from?
That came from we were sitting at Nemo's Italian restaurant that is about a block from us with some producers, and it was brought up as something that was being kicked around, and we jumped on. We were like, oh man,
that sounds awesome. We would love that. That was 2019. What a lovely time 2019 was.
There was no pandemic.
And
we hadn't started potty training yet.
Life was good. But so we were like, I mean, I don't know how that works or where it would be, but count us in. That sounds interesting. And then it all started happening, and then the pandemic happened, and so they hit the brakes on it for a while. We were supposed to film it summer 2020. And
it would be between season 4 of Hometown and season 5 of Hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would be able to just go there
it's
and
be
work.
Much more manageable. But that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
And as Ben said, everything just wadded up at the end of 2020. We did 3 shows at the same time while I was pregnant. It was terrible timing during a pandemic. Terrible timing. But we survived, and it's all good.
I have twin toddlers that I think are around the same age as your daughter. And the idea of doing anything at the same time.
We're
3 and a half almost.
Okay, they're almost 3. They're going to be 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the idea of doing anything like while toddlers are even around, like not sleeping at night or, whatever, it's just very daunting.
I was like, we're going to be transitioning to the big girl bed. I just don't know if we can do that in a different state. Like, these are the things that are making decisions for our career. The transition to the big girl bed.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if I can go out of town because are they going to sleep in a hotel bed? They're too big for the pack and play. Any of that stuff.
all that. Yeah, all that.
The too big for the pack and play, that is such a game changer that people don't think about. Because you go to the hotel and you're like, do you have a crib? And they're like, oh, yes, we have them available. No, do you have a crib or do you have a pack and play? It folds up. Yeah, that's a pack and play. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
You have been sort of like helping revitalize Laurel, I think you said for about 10 years, and not just for its residents, but sort of like Laurel is now sort of in this national spotlight. Like, what was Laurel like 10 years ago? And like, what do you think revitalization has done for not only Laurel, but for other communities in the area?
So 10 years ago, I'll give you, this morning, I struggled to find somewhere to park. We're in our loft, and this was our first home in Laurel.
And there used to be not a single other car in downtown Laurel, except for a few at the one restaurant that was downtown around lunchtime. And they were closed at night. And then maybe the insurance or the law office on the other side of downtown might have a few cars. But
at 8 a.m. on a Thursday, parking in front of our building,
not another car.
There wouldn't be a single car. And this morning, I had to let Erin out and
they're enforcing parking tickets now.
Yeah, we got parking.
It's kind
tickets.
of a big deal.
So that's just the
first indicator. When it becomes
indicator.
harder to park, it's a great sign of success economically. And 10 years ago, Laurel was pretty much shuttered. 2011, pretty much shuttered.
Yeah, downtown.
And we were pretending that it wasn't, though. Like, you have to feel like you go to every play that the little theater does. You tell everybody how awesome it is and get them to go too.
You eat at the local restaurants 3 or 4 times a week.
Over and over and over. And you just have to keep telling people how good it is. So then they think, maybe we should open a restaurant downtown. And that's how it happens. You have to fake it till you make it.
And the thing about it, though, is that it wasn't, that's not a lot. Like, the Cafe La Fleur right down the street.
It was freaking awesome.
Still is awesome.
Our playhouse, awesome.
Still awesome. So, I mean, it's just loving the things that are there already, finding the magic in it.
Instead of complaining about what's wrong, focusing on what's really right and telling people about it.
So what do you hope for Wetumpka? Like, you can go in there and you can redo some spaces, but how do you sort of create that sort of momentum for a town like that, or help them, give them a nudge to do that for themselves?
I honestly think that's a big part of why HGTV chose Wetumpka, because they recognize that their city leaders and volunteers there are passionate enough that this is a worthwhile investment. So it really, that is key. Because if they didn't have people who were already mobilized and trying their best, then they wouldn't have been a great candidate for this show.
Because the logistics of, when you hear like, oh, they're going to renovate a whole town, that sounds impossible, because it is. Like, we didn't go to Wetumpka and in 4 months touch every building, every house, every homeowner, every citizen.
We found 12 nerve centers via the people who cared and were trying so hard, and we helped them. And by helping them, then they can do even more good. That was the whole like strategy for how you do it.
Help the helpers.
Even on the show, you're going back and forth. Like, how many projects were you working on at any given time? I mean, you said 3 shows, so.
Between the 3 shows.
In October, in the fall.
In October and November.
We had 5 houses in Laurel, right?
Yeah.
4
or 5.
4 or 5, and then 6 projects in Wetumpka. And then that was when we were filming
4 episodes of Ben's Workshop.
Which the way that we had to film that show was,
Ben was so mixed up about what he was building for what city and what show,
what piece of furniture, and then the guys in the shop would be like, can you send me drawings for everything in the TV world? It's all, episode numbers. And so, can you send me the drawings for episode for 512? And you're like, okay, that's the stair rail. So that's here. I'll draw it for you. Here, this
it
is
was
what
a
I'm.
mess.
And then they're like, "What are you talking? This makes absolutely no sense to me, because I'm not supposed to be drawing a stair rail. I'm supposed to be drawing an armoire." And it's just.
You're like, they're like, you've sent us the stair rail 3 times. Like, we got that much.
Yeah, Helen got strep throat in November, and her doctor is one of our very good friends. And I took her to the doctor. Only one parent could take her anyway. And Ben was having to work a lot of late nights, and he was like, "How's your daddy been doing, Helen?" She said, "Daddy's gone." like he had passed. And I was just like, no, Daddy's just having to work a lot lately.
Working late, long hours.
It was so hard. Really, really
probably hard because you were around. I mean, this is what's happening for me. It's like we were around them a lot. And now that we're like sort of getting back to work, it's just like, how dare you?
The separation anxiety was really intense. It's starting to ease up finally. But being together 24/7 for 4 months was
wonderful.
Awesome. So amazing. But then very hard for her to adjust when we had to go back to work. Yeah.
How has Laurel changed since you guys started doing the show even? Like, I've noticed, as a fan of the show, I've noticed that property prices, for instance, are maybe different from season 1 and season 5. Like, even stuff like that,
Laurel is still, it's been on a steady growth since we moved back from college. For 10 years. I mean, really, at this point, 15 years. We're older than we were 5 years ago. But it's the show. What the show has done is it's given people. I mean, there's a candy store across the street from us, and in a small town in South Mississippi, that's unheard of.
It works in a college town.
Yeah, it works in a college. It works in a big city. It works in a tourist destination like the beach or something. But for it to work here, it's a testament that what HGTV has done is shown a spotlight on what was already happening here, and
giving people courage.
It's given people courage and hope
to open the business they always wanted to open. And you just see a lot of license plates that you wouldn't normally see.
A lot of people like the idea of living in a small town, like especially, younger people that are like, I can't afford to live in LA or San Francisco or whatever, but are maybe afraid to make the leap. Like, oh, I don't want to be the only gay couple in blankety blank, or the only like liberal people, or, whatever. Sort of, what would you say to people that are maybe like the idea of it, but that are maybe afraid of being, early adopters?
We have multiples of everybody here.
Yeah, I think every small town in America has people of very diverse backgrounds.
I think that everyone looks at it and
but they've invested in the stereotype.
They want Mayberry, but then when they look at Mayberry, they're like, wait a second, Aunt B's slaving over the stove every day while, Andy's out gallivanting. And that's not Mayberry. What made Mayberry so wonderful, and by the way, that's the Andy Griffith Show. What made it so wonderful is that it celebrated all these weird people in that town.
The weird personalities.
And every people passing through everybody. And
I think people would be very surprised.
I think they would be.
By how unusual the population of a small town really is.
And how welcoming a small town is to any and everybody.
In a small town, you care about people on a personal one-to-one basis rather than a blanket label. Yeah.
It's
there's no room to have bad blood in a small town, so you get to know your neighbors. And
this is something that somebody asked us about recently, and we explained that the most expensive house in Laurel is around the corner from the cheapest house in Laurel. That it's not like, oh, you're on this street and so you're wealthy and that's what this means. It's not like that at all. It's very mixed up, and it's blue collar people. It's old money. It's very cultured, educated people. It is such a beautiful mix.
I think that's probably how it is in most every small town. If people would look past the stereotype they've seen on TV.
I can't wait to see it. Oh my goodness.